So I want to tell you all about my card replacement journey right here, okay? Now, first off, I want to say this. I bank with Chase Bank, and I like them. I've banked with them for a while now, and I have numerous accounts with them. I have numerous bank accounts with them, savings. I like them. And I'm talking about bank accounts, not credit card accounts. I have numerous bank accounts and savings with them. They treat me good. I have no complaints on them whatsoever. So anything I say in this is not try to compare my bank to your bank and we're gonna have a bank pissing contest of who's got the better bank. Woohoo! Pew, pew. Yeah, we ain't gonna do that. I'm sure there's other great banks out there too. In fact, I used to bank with Citibank, C-I-T-I. I really liked Citibank. I liked them a lot, and they sold out all of their branches there in the area where I was in Texas. Man, I was really disappointed over that. And all of a sudden, you know, they didn't even give us a choice. All of a sudden they told us basically we're customers now to, you know, I don't remember who they sold them to at first, like something B&T Trust or something, I don't know. I wasn't wanting with some little small banking system like that. So I tried to continue to maintain the bank account with Citi, but it was just too difficult without having a branch there nearby. So I looked at Bank America. I had thought about them, but I wanted to be with the big boys. And the reason I want to be with the big boys is because I travel international. And prior to you all knowing me on this vlog, I went to more than just the Philippines all the time. And I like being with the big boys because they're set up to help you way better when it comes to international matters and all. So before it was with Citi, I still like Citi, and Citi's still operating. It's just in my state in Texas, they sold out. I heard that maybe they did it in some other states as well. You all can comment there on that. Citi had actually maybe still does. I know they got ATM machines here in the Philippines. I think they have a bank in Cebu and a big one in Manila. Chase has a big bank in Manila. They sure do. Chase is here in the Philippines. They're not spread all over the country, but they're up there in Manila, including they have a big call center and actually a bank there. All right, so I digress. I had the fraud, and now I want to cover that. Somebody commented about sending alerts to your phone so that every time there's a charge, it sends an alert, like a message, and or both email to your phone. And you know what? I used to have that turned on, but I don't like to be bothered with a phone. I don't like a lot of messages going off and stuff. I don't even check my phone real often. And I keep all notifications turned off. Like there's no ring, there's no ding, there's no vibrate turned on my phone. I just check it when I check it. And somewhere along the line, I turned off those notification things, but it is a good thing. It's just me. I worked living by phones for so many years with them plastered in my ears with multiple businesses and employees and sales calls and ordering, and so much that, man, I literally had a phone on both ears nearly all the time. Madness. So maybe I got a little bit of anxiety with it now. I just want away from all of that. But it is definitely a good option. Turn on those alerts. Most banks have that. I should maybe consider turning that back on my account. The charges, it wasn't like they were long ago and I was just now seeing them. The charges that came through fraudulently had just happened. They just happened within the last, that last week before I had noticed it, because I log into my accounts and check them regularly. I suggest you do the same thing. I shut the card off and they sent me a new card, and let's talk about that. So on June 30th, they cut off my card and dispatched a new one out, and they sent it through UPS expedited. Okay, so expedited UPS to the Philippines. Now, prior, a few years before that, maybe all the way back in like 2017 or something like that, 2017, 2018, I think it's somewhere in that time, I had some fraud one time while I was in the Philippines. The fraud didn't take place here in the Philippines. The fraud took place back in the United States. And they had to do the same thing as this time. They had to cut off and send me a card. They sent that one that time FedEx. I had it the very next day. It was mind-blowing. Very next day. So this time they used UPS. I guess they changed their contracts. And UPS expedited. Well, it was going to land right with the holiday weekend for the 4th of July back in the US. Now, it's June 30th, but everybody celebrates the weekend before the 4th, whatever weekend's close attached to it. And so all that was going on, a lot of people off work. This is UPS's excuses. And so it's going to be a little delay. So I got a delayed notice right off the bat from UPS, and that they were working out the logistics and would update soon. Well, then the last thing it came through was that it was on its way from the US to Manila, and that was on July the 6th. Then nothing else, and there was no more updating on tracking or anything. It was just went dead in the water. And I called my bank. They checked in on it, and they said, well, the holiday thing, the 4th of July and all that. I didn't know that 4th of July would affect global events like shipping. So I think it's just excuses. So then there was no more updates, and I went on each day. I kept checking on it, and nothing, still no further updates. I call UPS. UPS would tell me to call UPS International. UPS International would tell me to call UPS Philippines, and UPS Philippines would tell me to call UPS United States, and then they would tell me to call International. Circles. So then catching the time, it was always like out of their business hours, for one side of the world or the other. It was out of their hours. So I just stayed on it and stayed on it. My bank said they were fixing to declare it lost and shut that card off and expedite another one out. I said, no, don't do that, because whatever the problem is, it could happen again. We need to find where this card is. So went on this journey of just calling, and finally I got a hold of somebody that was willing to dig a little deeper, and they said, look, it has been turned over to a third-party company, Air 21, here in the Philippines. That Air 21 picked it up at Panrique, and now how you say it, Panrique, Manila there. and it's in Air 21's hands, and it's been in their hands. And actually, it's been in their hands since July 6th. Wow. So where's it at then? So start trying to call Air 21. No luck, no luck. Now tell me call UPS. And finally I remember a number that I had called before and got a problem with Air 21 in the past, and I had got some action from this guy. So I called Air 21, that number, I found it, and I called that same number again, and they went to doing some research and called me back. That same gentleman that had helped me a couple months ago, same guy, he said he remembered me. He said he was the one. He checked on it, and it had been sitting with Air 21 in Iloilo for over a week, just sitting there. They had never bothered to deliver it. Yep, just sitting there. And it took a lot of phone calls. This wasn't a simple process. This took a lot of phone calls, a lot of people, a lot of on hold, a lot of pushing buttons, a lot of menus. This was a mess. And staying up late at night so I could talk to them in the US. And they said that they would deliver it tomorrow. And I said, you know what, how about you deliver it today? You've put me out this far, this long. I think that for all the trouble, they need to take that package and bring it here right now. And you know what? That guy let me go there in Manila and called me back in about 5 minutes. And he says, sir, they're going to bring it to you right now. And they did. And they did. So the US side of it, great job. UPS, they got it on over here to the Philippines fast. When it went to the carrier here in the country, the carrier dropped the ball, I guess. You know, the third party one did. And I've had several instances of that. I just don't know. I don't know if they just don't want to drive out here to where I live in Tigbawan or what, but real inconvenience, to tell you. A little stress, you know, and you just want to get your life back in normal order. But this is why I keep multiple cards, and not debit cards. I have multiple debit cards too, so I'm gonna give more advice here again, okay? I keep several different credit cards. Now, I don't keep high balances on all those cards, and I don't keep all those cards in one location. Because if you pack it all in one big old thick wallet and you lose that wallet, you've lost everything. Your IDs, cards, everything. Come on, guys. You gotta be smarter than that. And so you need to spread that out. It can even be on your body, but not all in one wallet. You know, one thing that can be dropped, lost, stolen, pickpocketed, and done. I like to keep some cards that's got some lower limits on it, and they're always contacting me wanting to raise my limit because I have a very high credit score. I don't want my limit raised. I keep telling them, I've even had them to raise it without my permission before. I'm asking you to lower my limit back down. And they don't get that, I guess, because most people just want to get all they can when it comes to credit. But I'm actually not using credit. I don't make payments on a credit card like paying the monthly minimum or anything like that. I pay that joker off in full multiple times a month. So make sure you're with a card company that don't penalize you for making multiple payments. So if I make a large purchase or anything, literally the next day I log in and pay that right back off. I earn points. I just cashed in $1,800 worth of points earned. So they didn't earn interest off of me because I kept the balance paid. And I earned points, and I earned $1,800 using the card. I had them just apply it back off onto the card, you know, because I was about to pay off a charge on there anyway. So That way, if somebody does get your card, they can only go so far with it. They can only make it so far with that one card. And then you have backup ways. Next thing is just do not use your debit card. You know, do not. You do not get the securities, the fraud protection and all, like insurance and everything with a debit card like you do a credit card. So whoever you bank with, just ask them to even give you a low limit credit card, if they would, that's tied, you know, maybe with your bank account or whatever, with the same people you bank with. And well, you can manage it all right there on one screen, one login. You can transfer money and pay the card off, everything right there. It's one way to do it. Another way to do it is have a prepaid debit card, okay? And with a prepaid debit card that you can load money online. Now that's another good way to do it, because then you can load just what you need on that card and then do the transaction you need to do right then, and that's that. So a lot of times it costs you like $1 or something to have one of those cards. So so there's an option right there, prepaid debit card, and just put a little money over on it occasionally and use that to pay whatever you need to pay. Just don't put all your eggs in one basket. I just tell you like that. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. What other advice can I give you? Let me think. You see, it's getting dark here. So I was telling this in comments earlier. Prior to me marrying Melinda, I did a lot of traveling around, and I bounced over in other countries as well, okay? Not just the Philippines. And even down in Mexico, part of Central America there. I went around over, I backpacked around Japan, different things. You know, just bounced around, right? Many of you guys have done the same thing, because we're all like a bunch of kindred spirits on this channel, on this vlog. So I had a pair of shoes that I wore all the time, not flip-flops, shoes that I wore, and I had a backpack with me all the time. And if I was to get robbed or mugged or anything like that, I wanted backups. So what I did is I pulled the insole out of my shoes, and under the insole right there, I just kind of took a box knife and kind of cut the plastic down just barely and smooth, so it didn't hurt my feet enough to lay a card in. I just laid the card down there and took a marker outline where it would go and scraped that, and I had this card under my insole down inside my shoes, and then I glued it back down. I mean, literally, so if somebody was to like pick those shoes up, they wouldn't realize that was in there. I would have to rip the insole back up to get to that card. And I kept a card in there, and I kept a calling card with a load on it. International calling card with a decent size load on it, so I could get to any phone and call in case of emergency to wherever I need to call. Then in my other shoe, I also kind of whittled it there a little bit, and I folded up cash, some large bills and then a few smaller bills, and I folded that cash up, and I had it the same way, and then I wrapped it in plastic, kind of sealed it so any sweat, perspiration or anything like that, it would not, you know, soak up the money. And there's the method I did right there on that. And that way, walking around with me all the time was backup funds, as long as somebody didn't steal the shoes off of me. So that gave me a lot of sense of security doing that too. So there's ways you can do things, you just got to get inventive. And then the last thing I want to say on that, I know a lot of you guys come here for the first time, or even you might hear for a little while. You've got smitten with somebody, right? Some young, beautiful Filipina, and you've got really smitten with her, and you got a lot of air bubbles in your brain, you know. a lot of air bubbles in your brain. So you're a little foggy. You know, you're all lightheaded and googly and woohoo. And the world's so beautiful because I got this little young beautiful gal next to me. And you know, when it gets frothy like that all in there, you don't think straight. Yeah, you don't think straight. So you think, oh man, my girl would never do this, or my girl would never do that. And oh, I love them all. I trust them all. They're all so wonderful. That's because you're new. Yeah, that's because you're new. Not everybody, but listen, be wise. Loose lips sink the ship. All right. So if you take my advice, like about the shoes or something like that, don't tell anybody you got it in there. Just don't tell anyone. If it's a credit card, they don't need to know. They don't need to use it. Even if something happened to you, they don't need to use your credit card. And if a couple $100 ends up lost away inside some soles to a shoe that nobody ever knew about, so be it. So be it. But that's your security, and you need to keep that quiet, even from that one that you're all smitten about. And I'm not going to keep no secrets from you. Be wise, guys. Be wise, guys and gals. So that's my story on all this. My bank did a great job. UPS tried, but their third party here in the country dropped the ball on it, okay? Well, I want to share all that story with you, and I just really want to encourage you all to always think and be smart and be safe. Don't be one of these bad stories here in the country. One of my commenters earlier said he told a story about a guy messing up and having to appeal to the embassy and a senator and all to help him because he had lost everything, including his ID, his passport, and all here. And he said, don't be Fred. And that's right. Let's don't be Fred. Whoever Fred is, let's don't be him. Everybody, I'm going to close this day out. Thank you for watching, listening, supporting. Thank you for all the new members. I'm going to continue to get some more perks up, and there's going to be things we're going to be sending out. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for things that's going to be coming on this channel. And right now, I'm going to get me a little rest. Everybody, take care. God bless, and thank you.